Hello, we have an example of two forces acting on an eye bolt, and we are going to solve for the resultant force using the law of cosines and the law of sines. Now, to remember, we will be finding, so this picture here is our given. I'm going to label that up there way up top. We're going to find the resultant force, and my approach is going to be the law of cosines and the law of sines. Now, so there's my solution. Okay. So I've got this force acting at 800 newtons going straight up on the y-axis, and I've got 600 newtons 30 degrees from the positive x-axis. Now, if I came in and I decided, okay, I'm going to make this force, I'm going to put it at the head of this one here. I'll try and draw it parallel. So now this is my 600 Newton force. I can come in and draw this blue line here, and that is going to represent my resultant force. Knowing this, and knowing that this angle here is 30 degrees, we know this angle here is 60 degrees. I'm also going to say that this here is 800 newtons, and my red line there again is 600 newtons. Just to represent that, that's the same as the red vector there. So looking at that, I can say, alright, my law of sines, my equation is c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared minus 2 times a times b times the cosine of c. Now when I say c squared, I am talking about my resultant force squared. A squared is going to be this 800 Newton force, 800 newtons squared, plus my b squared then is going to be 600 Newton squared. And then we can say minus 2 times 800 newtons times 600 newtons times the cosine. Now we've solved for this angle here was 60 degrees. 60 degrees. Perfect. So then we can come in and say, alright, C, plugging and chugging, or let's rewind real quick, not C anymore. My force resultant, after plugging all this into my calculator and then taking the square root of both sides, I come up with 721 newtons. Now make sure you plug that into your calculator. Make sure that you get the same result as I did. Now if I want to solve for this angle here, we're going to call it phi. If I want to solve for that angle there, I know that I want to solve it from the positive x-axis. That's going to be my direction of this resultant force. Again, just using trigonometry. I can come in and say, alright, I can use my law of sines. And when I'm using my law of sines, I can come in and say that the sine of alpha, okay, so what is alpha? Well, I am calling this alpha right here. I'm calling this alpha. So alpha over, so alpha is opposite of 600, so I would write 600. And then I would say sine of alpha is over 600 is equal to the sine of 60, because now I have to have something known. So I know this is 60, and I've solved for my resultant force, which was 721.1 newtons. Now if I cross multiply this, I get sine of alpha times 600 newtons is equal to the sine of 60 times 721.1 newtons. So all I'm doing is, again, cross multiplying. So if I divide by 600 newtons here on each side, those cancel there. So the arc sine of all of this is going to equal alpha. So when I plug that into my calculator, I come up with 46.1 newtons. Now note, alpha then is 46.1, but I am actually looking for phi here. I want to know the direction from the positive x-axis. So I can come over here and say, well, phi is going to equal 90 degrees minus alpha. Well, if I plug in my answer for alpha, which was 46.1 degrees, I get phi of 43.9 degrees. So now I know my force resultant is 721 newtons at a direction of 43.9 degrees from the positive x-axis. So it's going a positive direction, 43.9 degrees from the positive x-axis. I hope this helps a little bit. We'll be uploading more videos soon. Thanks.